Hi folks, welcome to episode 2 of Music Video Reactions. Today we're gonna have a look at an animated music video for Tinariwen's Nànnuflày, which in English I believe it means fulfilled. Now the background to this song, I discovered it during a ski trip in 2020, right before the lockdown and quarantine began. For me it resonated in a weird way. The band members belong to the Tuareg people, who are a semi-nomadic group of people that live in the mountainous areas of the Sahara Desert. So in a way I kind of found some sort of a similarity between the snow white fields and the desert sand. Quick shout out to Nicole for recommending this song, by the way. Now the main story around the Tuareg people is actually one of suffering. There's been a lot of tragedies in the past. It started off actually as a political movement and it was the sound of rebellion. Well, let's get one thing straight. I'm not well versed in the historical background of the story, but I do know that they're a minority that suffered and have been through several rounds of tragic historical events, all of which were actually witnessed by the band members themselves. But what kind of makes this band special is that they not only sing about the tragedies that they witness, but also some kind of bittersweet hope that keeps them going no matter what life throws at them. I think that comes with living in such harsh conditions in the desert, where things like disease and health incapacities actually result in death at a much higher rate. What's also interesting for me is actually the sound of their music. It sounds very similar to the blues, and that's actually no surprise. In some ways, blues and the music Tinariwen plays are kind of distant cousins. Here's actually a very good introductory clip by the manager who explains who Tinariwen are, what their music represents, and I think it's a good base before jumping to the music video itself if you are unfamiliar with the band. Let's have a look. These Jeeps are, by the way, iconic. I used to live in Qatar and the Toyota Land Cruisers are quite famous.
Tinariwen, c'est Ténéré. Ténéré veut dire désert. Pas seulement désert, mais pays. La campagne, quelque part. C'est un groupe qui existe depuis 1979. Ils étaient très jeunes. Ils étaient à Tamanrasset, dans le sud d'Algérie. Et ils partaient souvent en brousse, entre eux, avec une guitare, faire la fête, boire le thé, etc. Et les gens, ils disaient, voilà, ça c'est les Tinariwen, les garçons de la brousse, les gens de la brousse, tu vois. Donc Tinariwen, ils ont commencé à jouer des chansons, à écrire des chansons. C'est ça l'importance, parce que ceux qui jouaient, après un moment, c'était plus la musique traditionnelle. C'était peut-être les mélodies traditionnelles ou les rythmes traditionnels. Mais les textes, c'était de parler de leur situation. Où on est, qu'est-ce qu'on fait, on sent quoi. Et tout ça, c'était une sorte de grande révolution dans la culture touareg. Parce que pour la première fois, les gens entendaient une musique qui parlait pas d'un passé guerrier, machin, etc., mais d'une réalité actuelle, une réalité très très dure, quoi. Et donc, ils sont devenus très très connus, mais d'une façon très très clandestine. Ils ne faisaient pas des grands concerts et tout ça, c'était juste des cassettes qui traînaient, etc. etc. Puis, suite à des événements assez complexes, ils sont revenus au Mali pour faire une rébellion en 90, qui n'a pas duré très longtemps, mais qui a été très très dur. C'est un son qui est basé sur les guitares. Les tamasheks, ils appellent ça la musique juste guitare. Voilà. Et ce son, donc, et non seulement ça, mais les couleurs du son ont beaucoup à voir avec le rock, parce que c'est pentatonique avec le blues, quoi. C'est-à-dire que c'est basé sur la musique traditionnelle du boucle du Niger. Et la musique traditionnelle du boucle du Niger, c'est ça les racines du blues, quoi. Donc c'est un lointain cousin des blues américains. Mais quand tu l'entends, c'est évident que c'est proche, quoi.
Basically what I tried to say, but in better words. And remember the symmetry, because this will resonate as well in the music video that we're about to watch. Before we begin, I also think it's absolutely crucial to have a quick read of the description without revealing too many surprises. In the Sahara Desert, an old Tuareg man comes back to the camp where he grew up for a party. He remembers the joys and the torments of the nomadic life he lived with a friend who has since deceased. Memories from their naive childhood in the sand dunes, adventures they lived during their teenage years, the fights and the dramas of their adult lives. Their friendship tells us the story of hearty people living in the lands of loneliness. And without further ado, let's begin. Tea is such a crucial element of this culture, and I relate to it because I'm originally Turkish and it has the same kind of relevance. I love the rate at which actually it goes back and forth through time without disturbing you too much. And there's a hint about what's to come later. The iconic Toyotas approaching. To be honest, when I first saw this, it seemed a bit sinister, knowing their backstory. But that was really just my paranoia speaking. Just a group of people enjoying the good life. Had to check where this is, by the way. I'm going to show you at the end. I really tried hard to figure out what the symbolism here with the sunglasses on the goat. I'm still lost, so if you know, let me know in the comments. I'm really interested. Fun fact, by the way, a bit of the surprises I left for later, is the second layered lead guitars are actually from Kurt Weill, which apparently was a big fan and wanted to play in the record. And now you're hearing Mark Lanegan from the Queen of the Stone Age. But actually his main band is Screaming Trees, which I didn't know about. More to find out. That's a heavy scene. Fighting evil, sacrificing, leaving things behind for a better future. I guess that's what it's all about. No more sleepwalking. Memories. I was gonna say vanish, but they're still there. It's alright now. It's alright. And life goes on. Heavy stuff. Okay, so things I love about this video. I love the feeling of the vastness of the desert, the sky. I love how well it transitions between the past, the future, and the present. Almost like the challenge of trying to stay here and right now. And what I mean by that is, we first see the protagonist approaching a spot which he had past memories of, which we were able to also see. But in between, you kind of see these elements of what's going to happen in the future, which the kids back in the day were quite oblivious of. Is this kind of taking for granted feel, or the innocence of childhood? I think that's what I felt. And musically, it's really trance-like. You can dance to it, you can think along with it. It's a really weird balance of feelings. But to be honest, this is purely my personal interpretation. Let's go off to the comment section, actually see what the experts think. So this user says that this song talks about pursuing memories built on a dune that's always moving. That's a real deep comment. Having also lived in Qatar, like I mentioned before, there are certain sand dunes that actually kept on changing. It would never stay the same. Though if I remember correctly, some would always stay the same, and it's kind of like those were the landmarks you need to look out for. It's quite poetic. What I also noticed is a lot of people accidentally stumble across this song without knowing it before. So here again came across this group scrolling through traditional African music. I see more later down here. Whoa, sometimes while stumbling through YouTube, you come across a real gem. In a way, although they're so old, their clandestine nature still kept them kind of out of sight, out of mind. It's still a new discovery for a lot of people that I know as well. If we go back to the documentary, there's actually an interesting scene about one of the producers that they work with and how he actually summarizes their sound. I think he does a better job than me again.
Ibrahim est le fondateur de Tinariwen, du style Tinariwen, de l'esprit. Il a créé un style de guitare qu'on appelle la guitare Touareg, la guitare blues Touareg. Un style fait d'assouf, c'est-à-dire de blues, beaucoup de mélancolie, beaucoup de douceur, comme pour attendrir des moments difficiles, quoi.
This, I love this. I couldn't remember it. As if to sweeten difficult moments. This, to me, summarizes their sound. This is what I wanted to share with y'all. And when I say difficult moments, they are really difficult moments. Let me show you another documentary. Now this is a more detailed one, and I'm going to share all of these links in the description so you can have a look at it later yourself. Watch Ibrahim, the leader of the band, talk about a tragic moment in his life, about the death of his father.
الناس تروح تخص أهمية تخص كلها هي كانت سنين تدخل وتدينا تيانغا موت يدغل زمان غوار سويتا وين قد بس كيف تغنى قال غادي يلا زمان.
He's talking about the first rebellion, which happened somewhere in the 60s. I think 63, they always refer to that.
وين الدينا تويتا متاتين سيناس تبجيتا تنكريتوغا أجيد يوزني وزيد تنكريتوغا هذا وين هذه نصف لنا نسبة لنا نرتسيجي هيجنا أصلا ويتقسني اللي السلفون دوار ما حسن أدقسن نك في توغ هيري اللي يظن ورانا نودي هذا غنطاقس نك اللي يظن جراس نغيت الفصوة تاعنا نغيت يهوس كين وين هرت ورمسين قال لي يظن هذا الزمان دباباني نك هذا المدرسة.
I mean, there's no way I can relate to that level of, I don't know, that level of pain. I just can't relate. On a lighter note, I also want to show another scene where it shows one of their fans' stories of how they would listen to their music, which again just shows how much we take for granted in the lives that we live. I mean, judge for yourselves.
Moi, j'adore la musique depuis que je suis petite. Ouais. Bon, la première fois quand j'ai entendu leur chanson, je suis en brousse. Il y a un homme qui est sur son chameau, on appelle ça Amnis, sur son chameau, avec son radio. Je suis venue chez lui et c'est ma mère qui m'a envoyé
Rare commodity, radio tape.
le tabac chez lui. Je l'ai vu avec la radio, je lui ai dit il faut me mettre un cassette, je vais écouter. J'ai écouté Ibrahim chanter une chanson. Ouais, il m'a dit ça me plaît. Depuis le jour là, ça me plaît. Ah, moi, ça me plaît la musique de Tinariwen. beaucoup même.
So in the video, a location called Kidal is mentioned, and you can kind of see it laid out here. And if you scroll out, it's indeed in kind of like the mountainous areas of the Sahara Desert. It's located in Mali, but also very close to the Algerian border. So this is kind of the geography we're talking about. This is the music of this land. I also want to quickly talk about some technique. So this is an animation music video. So a technique called rotoscoping could be used sometimes, or reference videos, let's call it that way. I think you still need a bit of triggers. I think the video wasn't produced alone just by imagination, but it used a lot of auxiliary footage to make it as authentic as possible. So, you know, the scenes with the jeeps riding, it's kind of like what we see here, or scenes where objects are either approaching or sitting at the edge of dunes. I also feel like a lot of the characters were inspired by one of the documentaries I shared. So this one is the main character. He's got the same kind of facial expressions. There were also scenes where the guitar playing kind of resembles almost the same angle as we're seeing right now. Also, the first instance when I saw this lady, it almost reminded me of the dancing figure from the music video as well. And this lady features later as well in an interview, and I feel like the resemblance is even stronger. I don't know, I'll leave it up to you, but basically what I'm trying to say is you do need some help when you're doing your animations. It's not always just blank piece of paper, draw out what you feel like in your head, which is completely acceptable. But I think in this case, to kind of make it seem more authentic, they did refer to quite a lot of reference videos. Well, overall this song I think is truly powerful. It captures a lot of feelings, freedom, the vastness of, I don't know, the desert, our imagination. Brings together hardships, but in a kind of hopeful way. What makes it really special for me is that Kurt Weill features in the song. I was listening to the song the first few times and I kind of heard this like squeaky guitar, kind of like, and I was like, wait a second, that sounds exactly like Kurt Weill. And I thought, you know, I'm speaking out of my ass, like how can I just deduct that from a little sound? Yeah, I was just curious and I checked who was featuring, and I was really pleasantly surprised that he was such a big fanboy that he asked the band if he could record with them. So yeah, he features as a lead guitarist. Here's a live video of them playing, which again, I'll share in the description below so you can watch the full version. Well, that's pretty much all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed that one. I thought it was quite an interesting discovery for myself, so I just hope that it's the same for you. Please, if you could subscribe. I'm a small creator. Any little help would make me super happy. Please also share your comments about what this song represents to you, what you feel about it, and any other songs which are similarly inspiring to share with others. Perhaps I can do a video for you as well. Take care. Goodbye.